the scary part is how slippery it is.
How exactly did I find myself suspended 2,000 feet above the valley floor?
Oh my God.
Well, let me take you back a step. 6 days ago, I embarked on my first ever solo trip across Switzerland, paying a visit to every variety of fairy tale village, traversing the most spectacular peaks of the Swiss Alps, and fully indulging in the luxury of lakefront living.
Buongiorno.
This journey has taken me across 8 cantons, speaking 3 different languages, and after a wild ride through the mountains, and I really do mean through, I arrived last night here in Lauterbrunnen Valley, alone, soaked, and hiking my way in the dark up to my Airbnb.
To climb up a mountain to get to my Airbnb. Don't really love hiking in the dark by myself. Almost there, hopefully.
Waking to my first truly dreary morning of the trip, I set out on a casual mission to do some light sightseeing in and around this very popular valley, first starting just an hour from my accommodations in the tiny town of Rosenlaui. High within the Bernese Alps, the landscape of Rosenlaui is straight out of a storybook. Unpretentious homes coat the rolling green pastures, punctuated by some of the tallest mountain faces I've ever seen. Set back against the woodland sits the Hotel Rosenlaui, a venue first opening its doors in 1771. If you're looking for an authentic step back in time, rooms today are said to be in original condition, but if you happen to be a vegan or lactose intolerant, this hotel recommends you stay elsewhere. And that basically concludes my tour of the town. This was it. But I wasn't here for the town, I was here for the scenery, and just up the road was the Rosenlaui Glacier Gorge, an incredible place to get an up-close view of just how some of these dramatic landscapes were formed. It's actually very dark in here. Over the course of about 45 minutes, a sometimes dimly lit yet well-marked path leads visitors right into the gorge, walking alongside the thundering river as it cascades through the rocky terrain. On this day, I happened to be the only one on the trail, which gave me ample time to fully take in the experience. I've definitely seen waterfalls before, but to feel the ground rumbling beneath me as the river squeezed its way through the narrow walls really spoke to the power of this glacial runoff. Once I reached the top, I was greeted by an elaborate rock garden complete with funky hairdos and precariously perched bundles before winding my way back down to the parking lot.
Just another rainy hike. I do like the dewiness though. There's something a little mystical about it. All the moss on the trees and the ground. I don't know. Is it just me?
Before leaving town, I ventured over to a nearby hiker's hut to simply sit and enjoy the landscape in front of me. And though I found the mostly obscured view to be absolutely mesmerizing, I would be lying if I said I wasn't the least bit envious of those who have seen this place in the sunlight. My drive back to Lauterbrunnen was a damp one, with the rain letting up just enough to make a quick stop at Lake Brienz along the way. This lake is one of Switzerland's largest and deepest mountain lakes, and the tranquility of the shorefront perfectly set me up for a relaxing afternoon in the Jungfrau region. Next stop, Wengen. Now, to give you some context here, Lauterbrunnen Valley is one of the biggest nature conservation areas in the country and is featured in just about every Switzerland travel blog. The valley, located in the canton of Mürren, consists of several villages lining the valley floor and many more like Wengen perched high up in the mountains. These mountain towns are only accessible by cable cars or railway, with some departing right from the small village of Lauterbrunnen itself. And that's where you find me now, awaiting my train up to Wengen. Lying at the foot of the famous Jungfrau mountain peak, Wengen is a historic ski village filled with idyllic timber houses and holiday chalets. It definitely has a more uppity vibe to it, similar to Aspen feels if you're familiar with US ski destinations. and is buzzing with visitors enjoying local shops and restaurants. From here, you can continue your way even further up the mountain, but here's a tip. First, it costs a lot of money to climb these Swiss mountains, so I'd look into some of the country's travel passes to cut down on expenses. And second, many of the major mountain peaks have live webcams, which you should absolutely check out in addition to the weather forecast to determine if you'll actually see anything once you make it to the top. Obviously, for me, today was not the ideal day to go all the way up, so I decided to grab a little dinner and enjoy Wengen into the early evening before heading back down the mountain. I probably stayed a bit later than I should have because I found myself once again returning to my remote Airbnb after dark.
This is night 2, climbing up to my Airbnb. Fortunately, I started slightly earlier, so I mean, you're seeing what I'm seeing. It's my iPhone brightening it up. There's like a smidge of light left in the sky. This is really what it looks like. So I've got my headlamp, a little better prepared this time. So the deal with this Airbnb is you have to park in a public parking lot, and then you have to walk up this, I'm gonna say it's a mountain. You're not walking fully up a mountain, but it's a steep incline up. And it's probably about a 20-minute walk. Last night, as you saw, I couldn't see a thing. Tonight, I have a little more clarity. I also did this walk this morning in daylight, so I know there's no spooky monsters along the way. Man, I wish I recorded this when I was a little brighter out, because it is really pretty back here. Anyway, would you do this for your Airbnb? Trek through the darkness? My wildlife sighting of this journey. There's a waterfall up there, but can't see it. They do have a little trailhead here. If I had time, I would take it. Otherwise, I could just hear and vaguely see the gushing water. Feel that under my feet. Keep turning around to make sure no one's behind me. This is just habit. Whew. All right, I think I'm getting close. Yep, coming up on some animals. I don't want to blind them. Hello. Yeah. Hi.
I can't believe my last day in Switzerland has arrived. Bittersweet for sure, but you can bet I plan to go out with a bang. Booking the earliest cable car up, I proceeded from Steckelberg to the mountain village of Mürren with a transfer through Gimmelwald. Mürren is known to be the highest continuously inhabited village settlement in the canton of Bern, lying 1,650 meters or 5,413 feet above the Lauterbrunnen valley floor. Though it felt like a sleepy little alpine village in the early hours, it's actually a pretty popular tourist destination, so I certainly appreciated getting to peek into the community before the rest of the visitors arrived. One of my favorite finds was this vending machine doling out Swiss cheeses and meats. I spent about an hour or so wandering town, keeping a keen eye on the ever-changing weather, as the real adventure was about to begin, a hike along one of Switzerland's most adrenaline-filled Via Ferratas. If you don't know what a Via Ferrata is, the term translates to iron path and is basically a hiking trail bolted into the side of a mountain. Historically, these paths were used in the Italian Dolomites during World War I to help troops navigate the mountainous terrain, but today, many are being built with recreation in mind. You are free to traverse these trails on your own, which admittedly was more tempting than I care to share, or book a guided tour, which is what I ultimately decided to do given this was my first Via Ferrata experience ever. With about 8 people in my immediate group, we grabbed our gear and made our way to the trailhead for what was sure to be a thrilling morning in the Swiss Alps.
Okay, I will show you how it works with the carabiners, huh? If you pull on this orange thing back, we can open them.
Wearing a harness and 2 safety carabiners, our guide Christoph led us along the route that was expected to last 3 hours over 2.2 kilometers or 1.3 miles. The concept? You are pretty much just tethered to a metal cable, unclipping from it and clipping back in every 10 feet or so as you traverse the mountainside. One of the very first things I noticed was how muddy the ground was from the day before. In fact, the rain really only stopped just about an hour ago, so in addition to the strenuous trail, we were battling some super slick terrain.
I totally got your graceful fall.
It was so bad that a few folks in our group ultimately decided to abandon the tour and were escorted back to the start by Christoph, leaving the rest of us on our own.
He just completely ditched us.
Yeah, he did.
He was helping the last 2 in our group.
Quickly realizing we were in charge, I struck up a conversation with the ladies ahead of me and soon found out we were on very similar vacations.
Are you traveling by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Nice.
You're traveling by yourself also.
Oh, cool.
Sarah and Shirley were also traveling around Switzerland solo, and Diane, who was just ahead of them, was not exactly solo, but being her badass self decided to book this tour when the rest of her friends chickened out. Occasionally, another mountaineer would pass by, cheering us on as we went along.
How is Christoph's team doing? Everyone
Great.
He'll be with you in a couple of minutes. Maybe 5 minutes or 10, he'll catch up.
Is he gonna rappel down?
You can always call me. Call on me if there's a problem.
Okay.
For the most part, we became our own little squad, helping each other navigate some of the dicier sections of the trail.
Don't die, don't die.
If there's one motto of this trip.
Do you need help, Sarah?
I think I'm good.
You're good. Okay.
Yeah, just like hold on. Put your weight on the ground.
Okay. That's it.
I'm gonna be here to support you, okay?
Thank you. Oh, there we go. A little waterfall. Thank you.
If you can't already tell, this whole journey from start to finish is actually a descent across the side of the mountain. It became steeper and steeper as we approached what was expected to be the most exposed portion of the trail.
Yeah, so then if you can kind of squat down and then grab that bottom rung with your toes.
Oh, I see.
There you go, because that's way more secure.
Oh man. Thanks for the tip.
And I'm not sure how we timed this so perfectly, but the sun and Christoph finally emerged as we prepared for the craziest part of the hike.
Wow.
Do you want to go
Sure,
first?
sure.
For you, it's okay, huh? Good.
Everything's good. This is a lot of fun.
Is it going to be really exposed? Really exposed? Okay. Great.
Do you ever get bored of this?
Yeah, I don't do this every day.
Oh no?
The main part is the mountaineering part.
Okay, that's still fun. Oh man. Whew.
All right.
Oh my god.
Oh, gosh.
I think the scary part is how slippery it is.
Look at this view.
Oh my gosh.
How's Diane doing?
All in one piece.
Good, that's all that matters.
No, this is a lot. This is so much fun.
Oh. This is really cool.
That's the drop. Okay.
Whoever thought of this as a sport? Seriously.
Of course, we love this. I'm so glad we're not doing this again.
Oh my god.
All right, Ashley, just smile.
There you go.
Oh my God.
I can't even begin to tell you how much of a high I was on after that section. You know, mentally, I wasn't scared at all, but physically, towards that last bit, I actually felt my legs shaking, which is a sensation I've never experienced before. So I guess something in me was terrified, but overall, that was insane and incredible. The next portion of the trail led us through a dense forest on a fairly even plain, eventually arriving at a very steep vertical ladder section.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my GoPro died during this, so we pick up the adventure a short while later at the zip line.
Zip line into the fog. This is cool.
All right. Okay.
Off you go.
Off I go.
Hello.
Hello.
Then we walked across a tightrope,
Woohoo. Oh my god, this is so cool. Oh, it gets so shaky in the middle.
before climbing up to the last hurdle of the hike.
Okay. Whew. Oh really? There is nothing to hold on to on the left. Okay. Oh my god. I thought this would be the easy part. I thought it would be. Okay. Okay. How high do you think we are? It's like pretty relaxing in the middle, but the start of it was pretty horrifying. Diane, how you doing? You got it.
You're doing great, Diane.
You afraid of heights?
No, but this is just kind of nothing underneath.
I know.
This is better out here. You can hold on to more.
Yeah. Did you have fun?
Oh, most definitely. It was awesome.
What was your favorite part?
Oh my goodness gracious. All of it.
All of it? Ooh. High five when you're ready.
The trail ended in Gimmelwald, where we spent about an hour relaxing, exchanging numbers and photos, and exploring the small village itself, which featured this adorable honesty shop. This is Europe's first village store, which depends entirely on trust, where you pay what is asked completely unsupervised. It reminded me of the little roadside stand I came across in Appenzell earlier this trip. With only a few hours left in Switzerland, I made it a point to really enjoy the last of the mountain views before heading down to the valley floor. Back to Lauterbrunnen, I hopped out for a quick view of town and then captured this short drive right through the main strip before continuing on to Geneva Airport, where I was sure to stock up on all the chocolate ahead of my flight. You know, I think about the concept of this solo trip, the craving for some alone time, an opportunity for me to get back to feeling like myself, and though I was alone, I never actually felt lonely. I genuinely enjoyed my own company, but I, in particular, loved learning where my curiosity would take me. In a strange way, I was intrigued by my own decision-making. And perhaps the biggest lesson I learned was that this feeling does not require a fancy trip to Switzerland to attain it, but rather intentionally finding space in everyday life to set aside for just yourself. Maybe it's a bike ride around a local park, or visiting historic town sites. Any moment you can reserve for just you to do something you've never done before will give you the same feeling I've had over these last 6 days. And though the trip to Switzerland was not required for this feeling, I can't exactly say I regretted the expense. From the unbelievable alpine hikes to the delicious cuisine and the fairy tale villages to the crazy mountain passes, Switzerland is a country that completely exceeded all expectations. I truly believe a piece of me was left somewhere on a mountaintop there, and you can be sure I'll continue to use that as my guiding light whenever I need to realign. Until then, thank you so much for watching this series, and I'll catch you guys on the next adventure.